You're walking into a coffee shop and you notice something fascinating. Two people sit across from each other. One is leaning forward, making direct eye contact and nodding at everything the other person says. The second person is leaning back, looking at their phone occasionally, and giving one-word responses. Without hearing a single word, you already know the story. You know who's interested, who's bored, who's trying to impress, and who couldn't care less. This is the superpower of understanding human behavior. This is social intelligence. We live in a world obsessed with IQ. We celebrate the smartest person in the room. We pump millions into standardized tests, believing that raw intelligence determines success. But here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to hear. IQ gets you the interview. EQ gets you the job. Raw intelligence might make you competent, but emotional and social intelligence makes you powerful. It makes you magnetic. It makes you someone people want to follow, trust, and collaborate with. And the sad reality is that most people never develop this skill. They go through life misreading situations, offending people without realizing it, and wondering why they can't seem to get ahead. No matter how they are. But you're different. You're here because you want to understand the invisible architecture of human interaction. You want to decode the subtle signals that most people miss. You want to know why some people walk into a room and immediately command attention while others fade into the background. Over the next hour, we're going to dissect the psychology of human behavior and social intelligence in a way that will fundamentally shift how you see people, how you interact with them, and how you navigate the social landscape of life. This isn't theory disconnected from reality. Every lesson you hear is grounded in behavioral psychology, neuroscience, and real-world application. By the end of this video, you won't just understand human behavior. You'll be able to predict it, navigate it, and leverage it to build the life and relationships you want. Mastering social intelligence can transform your career, your relationships, and your sense of self. Research shows that the quality of your relationships is one of the strongest predictors of a long, healthy, and happy life. Yet most people struggle with this skill because they believe they're just not good with people. But social intelligence is not a talent. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be learned, practiced, and mastered. What you're about to learn comes from decades of research and observation. These are not vague ideas. These are actionable frameworks that will change the way you communicate, influence, and connect. So let's begin. To understand human behavior, you need to understand the human brain. Imagine the brain as a three-story building. At the bottom is the reptilian brain. This is the oldest part of the brain. It controls survival instincts like fight, flight, and freeze. It doesn't think, it reacts. The second level is the limbic system. This is the emotional brain. Fear, anger, love, joy, and anxiety all live here. Logic does not matter to this part of the brain. The third level is the prefrontal cortex. This is the rational human brain. It's responsible for planning, reasoning, and long-term thinking. But here's the key insight. The rational brain is the weakest under stress. When someone feels threatened, anxious, or angry, logic shuts down and emotion takes over. This explains why people make irrational decisions, sabotage themselves, and act against their own interests. It also explains why you cannot persuade someone who feels unsafe. If you want influence, you must first create safety. When people feel safe, their rational brain comes online. When they don't, nothing you say matters. This is the foundation of social intelligence. You're not just communicating information, you're regulating emotional states. When people feel safe around you, they open up. They trust. They collaborate. And once you understand this, you gain a powerful advantage in every social situation. Now imagine being around someone calm and confident. You start to feel calmer too. This is not coincidence. This is the mirror neuron effect. Mirror neurons cause us to subconsciously mirror the emotional states of those around us. This is why emotions spread instantly in groups. People don't just hear your words, they feel your internal state. If you are anxious while trying to appear confident, people sense it. If you are calm and grounded, they relax around you. This is why managing your own nervous system is critical. Before important conversations, regulate yourself. Breathe. Slow down. Ground yourself. Your body language, tone, posture, and facial expression speak before your words ever do. In face-to-face communication, words carry very little weight compared to tone and body language. Most people focus on saying the right thing when they should focus on being the right presence. If you want trust, embody trustworthiness. If you want confidence, embody confidence. This is not manipulation. This is alignment. Now let's talk about likability. Some people attract others effortlessly. Others repel without realizing why. Likability is not random. It has 5 dimensions. The first is competence paired with humility. People respect skill, but they dislike arrogance. The second is warmth, making people feel seen, heard, and valued. The third is honesty, consistency between what you say and what you do. The fourth is similarity. Shared values, experiences, and interests create instant bonding. The fifth is quiet confidence, knowing your worth without seeking validation. Master these 5, and people will naturally trust and gravitate towards you. Now imagine being able to read emotions before words are spoken. This is where microexpressions come in. Microexpressions are involuntary facial reactions that reveal true emotions for a fraction of a second. People can hide words. They can't hide biology. Disgust, fear, anger, sadness, surprise, and contempt all have universal facial signatures. When someone's words don't match their face, trust the face. Use this knowledge not to trap people, but to understand them. When you notice discomfort, confusion, or hesitation, address it gently. Reading the room is about compassion, not control. First impressions matter more than you think because of something called the halo effect. One strong trait shapes how people perceive everything else about you. Confidence creates assumed competence. Anxiety creates assumed weakness. This is why appearance, posture, and energy matter. Not because the world is shallow, but because the brain is fast. Your opening words, your greeting, and your first gestures shape how people interpret everything that follows. Once a first impression forms, it becomes difficult to change. Focus on what you can control: presentation, energy, intentionality. Influence is often misunderstood as manipulation. True influence aligns people with choices they already want. There are 6 laws of influence: reciprocity. People want to return value, commitment, and consistency. Small agreements lead to big ones. Social proof. People follow the crowd. Authority. Expertise creates trust. Liking. People listen to those they like. Scarcity. Limited value increases desire. Used ethically, influence becomes persuasion. Used selfishly, it becomes manipulation. At the core of all social mastery is emotional intelligence, self-awareness, knowing what you feel, self-regulation, choosing how you respond, empathy, understanding others' emotions, relationship management, navigating interactions skillfully. Empathy has 3 forms: cognitive, emotional, and compassionate. Compassionate empathy is the most powerful. It understands, feels, and helps. People trust those who make them feel understood. Conflict tests social intelligence more than anything else. Address issues early. Separate the person from the problem. Listen deeply. Focus on the future. Assume good intent. Express vulnerability. Handled well, conflict strengthens relationships. Handled poorly, it destroys them. Humans also play status games, often unconsciously. Posture, voice, eye contact, pace, and presence all signal status. Status is fluid and contextual. The most respected people don't dominate. They elevate others. They are secure enough to share power. Trust is the foundation of everything. Trust grows through consistency, transparency, follow-through, and genuine care. It breaks through dishonesty, broken promises, and selfish behavior. The deeper the trust, the deeper the betrayal. Protect trust fiercely. What you've learned today is not a checklist. It's a practice. Social intelligence is built through curiosity, honesty, integration, and ethics. Use this knowledge to connect, not control. Pick one skill. Practice it this week. Observe the change. This is how mastery is built. Not overnight, but intentionally. The world needs people who understand human behavior and use that understanding to elevate others. That person can be you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. If you want, I can also split this into recording chunks, optimize pacing for 11 labs, create B-roll cues, turn this into YouTube chapters. Just tell me.